Yeah. Mm. I can tell you right now that the moment you recognize that you're in the wrong relationship usually isn't the moment that you walk away. And that's okay. Like, I want people listening to know that there's nothing that you're asking for. We don't ask for people to treat us badly. We don't ask for people to be toxic to us. We don't ask for people to manipulate us and put us on a pedestal and then take it and take it away and let us fall and crash and crumble into a billion pieces. We don't do that. We ask for love. We ask for mutual happiness. We ask for peace, but we don't ask for that. So we stay because we're afraid of leaving. We stay because we're afraid of what could happen after we leave. We stay because we're afraid of facing truths about ourselves when we leave. We stay because we are so terrified of having to look ourselves in the mirror and say, you messed up. You knew from the beginning this was the wrong person for you. There was this sign and this sign and this sign. And remember when they did this and remember when they said that? What did you do? While you're in a toxic relationship, over time, picture yourself completely in color at first. You know who you are, or maybe you thought you knew who you were, but you were not in the place that it's gotten you to. That color was fading over time until you got to a point where you don't know who you are. You're living life in black and white. You don't recognize yourself. People who've gone through these kinds of relationships know. They know that moment you look in the mirror and you're like, this is not me. Or when you look at old pictures of yourself and you get sad because you miss the person that you were.
Have you felt like that before?
I have. You must thank the part of you that says never again. Because that part is trying to protect. I'm getting emotional again. I get emotional at the most awkward places. That part of you that's saying never again is trying to protect you from the pain you felt in the past.
Can I ask you, why are you getting emotional over this?
Because I've been through a point where I blamed myself for the bad things that happened to me and talked to myself in a way where I said, well, you went through this because you opened up and because you were vulnerable and because you didn't protect yourself. Your expectations are way too low. And that very well could be because you have not realized what your worth really is. You could know it on a logical level. I'm going to get emotional again, but to know your worth is very different from living through your worth. When you don't feel like you have the power to live through your worth or you have permission to live through your worth, you're going to relapse back to the version of you that didn't know their worth because you know how to live that way. If you haven't lived fully in that expansion of your worth, like for anyone who's listening, if you want a practical way to be able to visualize this, when you live through your worth, you're living in expansion. You feel like you could project yourself into the world around you and explode in beautiful ways and be yourself and project yourself and say your truth. When you're living not through your worth, when you're living through what toxicity has led you to believe your worth is, you're living in constriction. That's why sometimes you hear people saying things like, I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like someone's sitting on my chest. And the moment they break through and decide, I'm going to live by the worth that I know, as long as you know your worth and don't live by it, you feel like you're suffocating. Because at every instance where you are being prompted to live through your worth, you are curbing that. Because you're like, I don't know how to live that way, but I know I should. So you feel like you are caging yourself. You're living in constriction. So something's sitting on your chest. And you know what's sitting on your chest? The truth. The truth that's telling you, you deserve so much more than this. It's suffocating you. So the moment you start living through your worth, you start expanding. Imagine you see those visuals all the time with a person's head and there's flowers growing everywhere. That's the expansion. That's living through your truth. That's being creative because you feel safe in being yourself. Therefore, you feel safe projecting yourself, expressing yourself into the world.